first, this morning, we've got an update in the ongoing I-Team series of reports about Florida condo safety.
Yeah, many Florida condo owners say they're at a breaking point. The unexpected repair assessments that started happening because of post-Surfside laws are causing a mass exodus from older high-rises.
And seniors on fixed incomes are suddenly in deep financial trouble. There's an example of the problem in Boynton Beach. A major concrete restoration project is happening at the Seagate of Gulfstream.
Yeah, this association there says the work is absolutely necessary or the buildings will not pass state-required inspections. But owners do not agree about how the job started or the price tag. Let's bring in our I-Team chief, Mike Magnoli, now.
Hey there, Matt and Sam. So things have gotten so bad at this complex. You've had a bunch of owners who have already moved out, a dozen or so disgruntled owners banded together, and they filed a lawsuit over this. And when I went to the property, I really couldn't believe the condition that some of the buildings were in. Have a look at this.
It looks like a war zone. It's just a disgrace. Lanais are boarded up. They're doing over 200 lanais when the original project called for 72 of them.
That's the voice of Elizabeth Mifsud. She used to live here at the Seagate of Gulfstream in Boynton Beach. But all of this heavy-duty work that you see was driving Liz nuts. And so was the cost. More than $22,000 per owner. So Liz sold her unit, and she moved to a mobile home community. She says she'll never go back to condo life.
There's no checks and balances. Nobody's watching over all of this, and even these laws. They don't make any sense. I'm sorry, Surfside, you can't compare one building to Surfside.
Liz says after the deadly collapse in 2021, the association at Seagate started talking about concerns over concrete integrity. At around that time, politicians in Tallahassee were introducing bills for new requirements for condos. Milestone inspections, mandates for maintaining cash reserves, those would become law. Liz and her neighbors were told the association was going to hire a local company to bolster everything in the complex. Concrete and stairwells, the lanais. There are 360 units here. Alan Andrews says there was no discussion about getting a second firm's quote.
You always entertain multiple opinions, especially from the quote-unquote professionals. Professionals can disagree by a large percentage looking at the same project.
And so the conflict began. The association saying the work was absolutely critical. Some owners saying the buildings were in good condition and $8 million in repairs was overkill. Oh, and the timeline, that became a point of contention. When would the workers be gone?
This project, which was scheduled for 18 months, is now on its 26th month, and we might be 70% done. We have a long way to go.
Because of the uncertainty about the date of completion, selling a condo here is tricky. Ask Liz.
I got $20,000 less than our asking price because of the construction. I mean, people come and view your apartment and they see this mess everywhere, and they don't know when it's going to end. And they'll ask you, when is this going to be finished? And you can't give them an answer.
Alan tells the I-Team to keep up with the assessments. He's thinking about selling his car. Now, he's a golf instructor, so he could try to double his client list. But what about seniors who can't work anymore? What are they going to do?
What about the common sense? What about the quality of life for the people that live here?
Governor DeSantis has been trying to nudge lawmakers to amend condo laws this session.
I mean, look, there's a lot of people that are facing debilitating assessments. And we can sit here and say, well, you know, the condos have been mismanaged for decades. Yes, I understand that. But this is a legislative mandate that was put forward from Tallahassee.
We're a senior community, an over 55 community. A lot of people have come here to retire. They can't afford these assessments.
Back with you live here. There were some developments on the condo law front late yesterday afternoon. The Senate passed a bill in Tallahassee that would give associations the option of taking out a line of credit to bolster their cash reserves, so that over time could be, a big help for residents. But for the building that I just showed you, that's a little late, so they're kind of like too far gone. And the House also passed a similar bill, so now this heads to Governor DeSantis' desk. So there is some relief on the horizon, but for some of the buildings, that have been in this situation up until this point, this new reform isn't going to help that situation. So it continues to be a big mess, and then you have the insurance costs on top of it.
Right.
Very, very challenging for condo owners right now.
And this condo tried to get ahead of it, right? They tried to really get going on this before all the, kind of get ahead of the other condos, and almost seems that put them in a worse spot, because it seems like you've been doing this reporting where there are some condos that are just being like, well, we're just going to wait and kind of see what happens before we start charging our $8 million to our residents.
Right, you're absolutely right. Their intention was good. It's like, let's get ahead of this because we know that it's coming. They didn't know that there was going to be reform on the back end of it. So it kind of was like a cart before the horse thing, Matt.
Right.
And they're not alone in that situation. It's not just that building, not just that complex in Boynton Beach.
One thing interesting there, just real quick, is that there's disagreement there between some of the residents and the management company there about what actually needs to be done. Residents don't have any kind of rights to dispute what can or can't be done to where they're renting like that, right? Or owning in that building, right?
That's absolutely right. And in that situation specifically, when the contractors came out, they looked at a small piece of one wall, and that was going to be their sample. But then that sample grew, I hear maybe 2-3 times, so that it widened in scope. And as it widened in scope, these contractors found more problems. So they said, okay, the scope of the work now has to get bigger. And residents were like, well, we don't really get a say in this at all. So you're absolutely right, and that was very frustrating for them.
Mike, thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Mike.